giving you a voice,
making it loud our own way.
Welcome to the fun.
First Updates Now is brought to you by viewers like you. Fun relies on the generous support of our fans in order to continue to keep creating content. Please consider donating, giving bits, or subscribing. Subscribe for a few bucks a month or for free through Twitch Prime. And don't forget that our subscribers get 5x chance to win on all giveaways.
Giving you a voice,
making it loud our own way.
Welcome to the fun.
First Updates Now is brought to you by viewers like you. Fun relies on the generous support of our fans in order to continue to keep creating content. Please consider donating, giving bits, or subscribing. Subscribe for a few bucks a month or for free through Twitch Prime. And don't forget that our subscribers get 5x chance to win on all giveaways.
Good evening and welcome back to FTC Live, airing on First Updates Now FTC. We're going to be discussing the first global 2018 competition, which was hosted by Mexico City, Mexico. Joining us tonight, we have Ishan from First Global Team USA, Lino, who is the Fun FRC Mexico recap host and a referee at the first global competition, and Manny, a First alumni, volunteer, mentor, and also a Fun FRC Mexico recap host. Reporting for Fun FTC, I'm Ethan.
Hi, I'm Lino.
Hey, Manny.
Muted there.
That's Ishan. He was just.
Hi, I'm Ishan.
If you have any questions that you would like to be read during the show, please tag at First Updates Now and type your questions into the chat. As always, please be respectful in the chat and be respectful of our guests tonight. So I'm Nathan. So for anyone that wants to answer what was amazing about this event, what did you guys love about the first Global Challenge 2018?
Well, I really like First Global this year, basically because it has probably been the biggest production I've ever seen on an FRC, first event. They just had this crazy production. They had like a pre-narration show and they had a lot of special guests coming to the event. Another great thing was the venue. I think that it was a really great improvement from last year. The Arena Mexico has been home for other first events, and like even the arena staff are really nice to everyone here since they know that the volunteers will be doing a great job, and like they just know how a robotics competition goes. And well, it's a great way to connect to the world how First Global has been working so far.
Yeah, I mean, that opening ceremony seemed quite amazing. It was almost like the Olympics watching it live.
They really stepped it up when it came to how they portrayed it to the world, and they really wanted to make it seem like robotics could be a way to unite the world. And it was really, really unique to be able to meet all these teams from all around the world. Like, yeah, I've been to the World Championship a couple of times, but you don't get that international sense at the World Championship that you do at First Global.
Yeah, no, definitely. The guys from Azteca step it up a lot. The whole show, there was like fire, water. They tried to like replicate the four elements right in front of the stage. So it was amazing. It was incredible to have all that stuff like stage and the pyramid that showed up in the middle of the stage. And we also had like the president was there. So it was really incredible. The whole inaugural ceremony was amazing.
Yeah, like even like the opening, I think you guys are right now seeing it live. It even had a story. So like it was about the Mexican gods and how like they united, and it was just great. Like there was this cloak, and at the end of the production, it turned into a pyramid, and you could see like the team countries. You could see like even Team Cayman was on the pyramid, I think, at one moment, and a lot of people. So it was great, you know, the whole opening. Like if you have time and have 15 minutes, go watch it, guys. It's totally worth.
The closing was incredible. I mean, this is the first time that the Black Eyed Peas have played at a first event since 2011, I believe, and they nailed it. And then they had the Intel drone show going on with this concert. It was one of the most incredible experiences ever.
It was a big surprise that Intel drones, like at least for me. It was just like seeing them and just how the production, and that it was like a great way to end a big event with a bang, you know.
But I do think that First Global did bring together the world. they were able to definitely connect people. Like, there are so many people from so many different countries there that I would have never met had I not gone to this event. And I think the collaboration between teams at that event is exactly what First was going for. I mean, I'll just go on a little side story. The day before the competition, they reserved an entire floor of our hotel for First global teams, and that place was crazy. The day before the competition, there were so many teams helping out each other, and I think that they really nailed that part.
Yeah, you can see the Black Eyed Peas performing on the screen right now.
Yeah.
Drones are the last show they did. Tonight's going to be a good night with the Intel drone show, which was pretty incredible.
That's awesome. For the opening, I don't know if you guys were thinking this, but watching, I was really hoping they were going to lift up that giant tarp and the First global field was going to be right in the middle. I was hoping that people were like running in there and setting it up because it was on there for like 10 minutes. But, you know, can't always have that dramatic reveal.
We had the fields on this. Okay, so there was the stage, and then there was like the 4 fields already set up. But like, since there was a lot of dancer and like with the Nations Parade, I remember the volunteers were like moving the fields to the sides, and then they had to move them back up after the ceremony was over. So it was a lot of work, and like big shout out to the rep staff who helped us out, and to the volunteers.
I mean, the entire venue was also great. One thing that you can't see through all the videos is how the pits were set up and how they had it laid out for teams. They had this entire arena, but underneath, like on the same level of the arena, they had a track that goes around the field. And that's where they had all the pits set up. And they were able to give us a great amount of space. It was slightly smaller than a traditional FTC or FRC 10x10 pit. And it was really, really nice area just for everything. It wasn't just one-sided where they had a great performance area. All aspects of the competition were set up really, really well.
That's awesome. It sounds like an amazing experience.
Yeah. I mean, it's one experience that, like, you go to all these First events and, yeah, they're great experiences. This is the most different experience I've ever had.
Well, yeah, it's a different format. Like, we are really used to FLO, FTC, and FRC. So seeing something new, and especially, I think that teams like Team Canada, Team USA, I think even Team Romania, which is a FTC team, they just feeling this competition. It's like a new flow, and it can bring out new talents that they never thought that could happen on a robotics competition.
So, just for people who don't know how the game is structured, pretty much in around April, May time, each team is given a kit with a $1,300 kit with rev parts in it. And that's all they can build with, nothing else. And so it really evens the playing field for all countries, regardless of where they're from. And I thought it was really, really cool how, even though all these countries are from different areas and they might not have the same opportunities, they're being given the same opportunity at this competition, and it worked out really, really well. It's also a different challenge compared to like FTC or FRC, where you can 3D print, you can CNC, and do whatever you want.
So Isham, I actually have a question about the kit of parts. You were on Team USA, if I'm right, this year.
Yep.
So like, during inspections, how harsh were inspections? Because like on the game manual, it even says this is the maximum amount of screws. So were there like any inspectors going around like, this is the maximum amount of screws you have to have?
So the inspectors were not as harsh. One of the big problems that a lot of teams had was getting through customs. So the inspectors were a lot more relaxed about teams using parts that may not be outside of the kit, especially on the electronic side. So at the competition, they had to change it so that any OTG cable and any USB hub could be used instead of just the one that they've given, because they ran out of ones and a lot of them broke and a lot of customs didn't let it through. So the inspectors were a lot less chill, but I think that it comes down to the team and gracious professionalism to follow the rules and to listen to the kit of parts.
So in a way, we can say that the customs inspectors were harsh inspectors.
Yes. So, I mean, we had to open up our robot. We had to open up everything in front of them in order to get it into Mexico. I know there are some teams that lost their robot in customs. Team Spain, their robot didn't arrive in Mexico, and so Rev gave them a kit of parts, and they were able to rebuild their robot solely off of photos that they had, which is incredible. But there were other teams like Team Afghanistan. They had to rebuild their robot on the day of. So it was a very unique experience.
Yeah, like even just knowing the event that they may have those issues and just having kit of parts ready to give to teams, I think that's great part of Rev and First Global.
I think they had something like 30 kit of parts ready just to give out, and just spare parts for teams that broke their parts or stuff like that.
That's amazing.
Yes. Actually, I think that was like a titanic work for all the volunteers and all the staff, because, for example, Rev brought a whole trailer full of parts just for Global. So it was incredible seeing that, because it was like the fields and everything was just ready for all the teams to have them. So as you said, like Afghanistan, Team Spain, I think there were like other 5 teams that either they didn't have a robot with them or they didn't get their kits. So someone in the US or someone somewhere in the world built the robot and brought them to the event. So I think it was like 2 teams held the robot for the first time during the event. So it was like really amazing. Yeah,
I think the FTC team Tuxedo Pandas was helping out with some teams, and they helped build robots. I know just the collaboration that was there, it really shows how First Global is really changing the world. And there was so much collaboration there. We got there, and so many teams' robots weren't together. And Team Mexico was up there, we were up there, Team Canada was up there, helping out other teams, just getting their robots together and making sure that it was all working for everybody.
Yeah. It was really amazing. Like having also, I don't know if you noticed this, but there was, when you arrived to the airport, there was people inside of the terminals waiting for all of you guys. It was like all that work was incredible. Like the Grupos Arenas people, they were just amazing. Like what they did, they have people at customs waiting for the teams, people outside of the door of the terminals, and they have shuttles for everyone up to the hotels. They close up the whole hotel just for the teams. They even asked Team Mexico to bring their field to one of the hotels so they could practice. Yeah, it was incredible. Also, just like imagine, we are used to like in first championships, right, to be like 1,000 teams or something. Here with just like 160 something teams, there was food and snacks for all the teams all day long. So if a kid like wanted a Coke or wanted some snacks, they just go up to the snack side and grab them and go like free of charge. It was really amazing all what they did.
Snack bar.
Yeah. They also bussed us. Our hotels were about half an hour to an hour away from the actual venue, and they bussed every single team to and from the hotels every day. And the operation that they had was incredible.
Yeah, I know. Like, there was this time during the inaugural ceremony, the president was there. So having the teams enter the venue and the volunteers and the workers while the Secret Service was there, it was amazing. Like the whole logistic thing that the volunteers and all the crew had to do to get everyone in, it was just incredible. Like it was like, I don't know, an hour-long wait for the teams to get in, and it was just incredible to see all the volunteers working together. It was a bit crazy though, all the times that we spent on security, but it was great.
Yeah, like on security, I remember that it was like it was the arena security that day. It was the Mexican president security that day. And we also had some United States security because one of our special guests was Rick Perry. So it was just so many people.
Rick Perry is the Secretary of Energy. He actually came and signed our robot, which is kind of cool. But so Rick Perry was there, and then or Secretary Perry, and there was also the Mexican president at the same time. And it's very cool. Like at first events, you don't see this many politicians from different countries all at the same place.
Yeah, also ambassadors. I think there were like, if I'm not mistaken, there were like about 90 ambassadors from different countries, plus all the other how you call this, personnel from all the embassies that were there, because yeah, they sent like the ambassadors and also some people that are people working for the embassies. So it was really amazing to have all those people over there.
Yeah, we had somebody from the U.S. Embassy who works at the embassy come. We actually went and presented to one of the U.S. Embassy libraries, and the person who organized that came and watched us.
Wow, that's awesome.
You guys actually had many special guests. I remember one day I was actually taking some special guests from the Beni to their places and stuff. Like I remember taking some people to the USA's. Yeah, Qualcomm.
Yeah, Qualcomm was there. They came. So there was a lot of really cool people, and I think that it definitely inspired many of the people who don't get these opportunities, many of the countries that don't get these opportunities, to continue to pursue STEM and help engage the rest of their community.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. So something I was kind of curious about is kind of the awards aspect of this competition. Do you want to talk about a little bit about the awards process and who some of the winners were?
Yeah, so they had a multitude of awards, like a lot of them, more than they give out in any FTC or FRC competition. But the main awards were the Einstein Award, which is pretty much Inspire. There was Winning Alliance, there was Finalist Alliance, and then they even had a third place alliance who they played a third place match for. They had an Innovate Award, a Design Award, and they had Outreach Award. And they all had these names after international people who represented good. So like the Inspire Award is the Einstein Award. The I'm just pulling it up. The Design Award was the Zhengheng Engineering Design Award. So they had different things, and each award had like gold, silver, bronze. So they ranked each of the teams, which was kind of cool. And we actually came out with some medals.
Cool.
How they did it was they had judging in pits, no formal judging. Just judges would come around, ask teams questions, and they do it like any FTC, FRC judging. You start out, every team gets interviewed once, and then they narrow it down until they get to their winners. But so one team that really knocked it out of the park was Romania. They were the Einstein Award winners, so they won pretty much the equivalent of the Inspire Award. They were the Winning Alliance. They were the #1 seed after qualifications, which also is an award. They had scored the most cumulative amount of points, which is also an award. And they had one more. They got the Safety Award, and they got one more award, which put them at 5 gold medals in one competition. So they absolutely killed it. But there were a lot of other teams like Singapore. They were part of the Winning Alliance, and they were also ranked 3rd after qualifications. And Team USA was 2nd place after qualifications. So we got 2nd place for the first Global Challenge Award. We got gold medal for the Zhengheng Award for Engineering Design, and we got the fundraising award.
Oh, great. So like, I actually want to say something about the awards. So you may not be like completely remembering those awards, but on the competition, they actually made sure to make a video explaining every award to detail. So that way, when teams actually came to the stage and got recognized, well, the viewers actually, like, there was a huge live audience at the last day. Like, the arena was full, guys. So like, they knew what the teams were getting recognized. So that was really cool for the teams to actually get recognized in that way.
Yeah, one of the cool things was how publicized this event was to locals in Mexico. It was on a TV station every single day, and there were at least 2,000 or 3,000 people that weren't part of First Global at the event watching. And you should have seen it when Mexico won the octafinals. That stadium was insane.
Okay, so there's actually a joke going on the Mexico forums. So like, our Mexican soccer team, they've never actually won octafinals on soccer championship. So we're saying, well, our Mexican first global team does make it to the quarterfinals. So yeah, that's the running joke right now going on.
It was
Your
Really
soccer
cool.
team can't win, always count on your first team.
So I'll just go through the Einstein Award, which is Inspire equivalent. Romania got first place. They have the most incredible robot design. They spent so much time on that and got it to really work. And they also got a lot of government support, which was really cool. And their robot's actually being shown right now, I believe. Actually, no, that's not their robot. But it's an incredible robot, and they got a lot of government support in order to help fund them, in order to build a field and do really cool stuff. In second place was Mexico. Do you want to talk a little bit about Mexico, Lino?
I think
that's
Mexico.
Yeah, that's Mexico.
That's what I was saying.
So interesting thing about Team Mexico, there was like eliminations for the FG team. So all the chairman's award and the winning alliance for captains from FRC and the Inspire and winning alliance from FTC went up to eliminations to select the FG team, right? So I think it makes us, like, Mexico, the only country doing eliminations for the championship, for the global first global challenge. And the team was compressed by the Inspire Award and the chairmen of one of the regionals for FRC.
Laguna Regional chairman.
Yeah, the Laguna Regional. So these guys were like crazy because they were working in two locations. So one is up north in Chihuahua, and the other one is in Mexico City. So they were I think it's telecommunicating to build their robots, and they had to do two robots because they had to replicate the errors in one side and the other side and try to build a better robot about it. So it was super cool. Also, one of the sponsors was Grupo Salinas, or the main sponsor was Fundación Azteca, right?
Oh, there it's on the screen, actually.
Yeah,
Good job, Manny.
And the thing is, I shouldn't say they had like a ton of publicizing and things, but the crazy thing is, Grupo Salinas has their own network. First Global was televised completely in a channel. So I think there was a dedicated channel for First Global in Mexico. You have this like Comcast thing that's called Total Play. You could just log into the channel and you could see live what was happening on the stream. So it was amazing. And the guys from Team Mexico just like rocked it. Like they did like daily shows or daily things. They went to the airport to record like the whole travel of the teams, the forms that they have to sign and everything, so they could be like feeling at home, because that was like the main intent of the team, to have all the teams that came to our country feeling like they were at home.
Tyler, it's time to step up our behind the bots.
Yeah, it was awesome. Team Mexico they were the nicest people ever, and it was really cool to be able to work with them. They actually came down to the the U.S. Embassy Library that we were presenting at in order to help inspire school children from Mexico, and it was really cool to see how they connected with people.
Okay.
So I think we want to go watch two matches. One of them is one of the semifinals matches, and then the finals match. But first, does anyone else have anything to add about the competition?
I'm good.
Nope. All right. So for the robots, this competition, as we mentioned, every team received a Rev First Global kit. That's basically a larger version of the FTC competition kit. Teams were then able to use the Rev Control Hub paired with an expansion hub to run their robots. The control hub was then connected to a tablet, almost like an iPad. Is that correct?
It was a Kindle.
Amazon Fire. Kindle Fire.
Okay. So Lino, do you want to tell us about the alliance selection process for the
I actually wanted to talk just a little bit of the match Tyler is right now showing, because, like, in my opinion, this semifinal number one was the best match in all of First Global. Why? Because it was at a moment of eliminations that every alliance had completely polished their strategy, and like the robots, basically, you know how on Power Up or even on like this year on FTC on the game, I forget the name, Relic Recovery. So the cubes, there was a moment there was no cubes. So this was the closest we ever got to actually seeing like almost all the game pieces being used. There was like only 2 cubes, 4 cubes, I think, that weren't used. So like that was impressive for me. Like the whole teams just coordinated a great strategy. And well, it was great. It actually showed a high competitive level. So it's a great match to watch, and both all of the teams are doing something important for the field.
I think it was interesting. From last year, there were not as many competitive teams as there were this year. This year, there were at least 30 competitive teams that could have won it all, and it was really cool to be able to play at the competitive level at an international scale.
Yeah. Now, Nathan, you were talking a little bit about alliance selection. So for those who don't know, First Global does alliance selection a little bit different. And, well, it's random, guys. So just in mind, the way it works is that this year, it was the top 48 teams. They had to, well, if you were in top 48, you were going to play eliminations. Just that there was this robot that was made from Yale University students, and it basically sorted out balls, and like it dropped balls. And when the announcer grabbed the ball, well, he said what robot was it that was going to be in which alliance. So like, while this may have created a super powerhouse alliance, I think it's a great way for First Global to show that, well, it's more than robots. Like the competition is something, but like there's a lot of more stuff going on. I don't know if you guys want to comment anything about the alliance. Like I know by a fact that Ishan, you were a student, so you know that alliance selection actually was changed like 2 weeks before the event. I don't know if you want to comment a little bit on that.
From a team's perspective, what I can say is the first thing that I noticed about alliance selection is if you were an odd ranked team versus an even ranked team. If you were an odd-ranked team, you were guaranteed to never be with an even-ranked team. And if you were an even-ranked team, you were guaranteed to never be with an odd-ranked team. So we could, being the second seed, we could immediately not be paired with the number 1 seed or the number 3 seed. And then the fact that it was random threw another curve because they started picking the balls and they said, this team that's an odd team is on the red alliance. This team that's a blue team that's a even team is on the blue alliance, and they did that for 24 teams. So 24 teams on the red alliance, 24 teams on the blue alliance. So nobody really knew what was going on at first. I think it was a really good way to recognize all the teams though that had made it to the top 48, and then they finally came up to us with our alliances. I mean, it was cool that it was random, but it could also generate powerhouse alliances. Like the number 1 and 3 seeds got together, and that was unbeatable.
So, like, for example, I would like to actually see if we can do a small roundtable discussion. How would you guys do the alliance selection for globals?
I think there's no other really way to do it. I mean, the first thing I thought of when I heard about this is that it avoids any political or any sort of above us as a high school teenager reasons to not pick another team, and it's strictly just about robots and competing. Mm-hmm. I mean, that seems like that's what First Global is all about: connecting students around the world to compete in robotics and ignore everything else that divides us. And I think that's the best way. It
might have been cool if they had done a balancing out algorithm where the 1 seed is paired with the last seed and then a middle seed, 2 seeds paired with the second to last seed, 3rd seed is paired with the 3rd to last seed. And I think that would have been a way to balance it out in some way. And match throwing is very hard in this game because the tiebreaker is cumulative points. So it's very hard to guarantee your spot in the top 48 when there's 190 teams.
And there's 3 teams a field.
I know. Yeah, it's 3 teams a field, and it's very hard to actually guarantee your ranking. Like, we didn't know that we were going to be the number 2 seed until we finished that last match and we had won. Because if we had not won that last match, we would have dropped down to like 15th because of how the tiebreakers worked.
Yeah. Now, actually, I think the ranking system, like aside from alliance selection, I think it's a great ranking system. And now I want to actually bring all the first year game, Recycle Rush. In a way, this was a game like Recycle Rush that there wasn't that much contact. but like I think it was done right because like there was contact, like there was, as I was telling you guys on that semifinal, there was actually some keep wars on the middle, like robots trying to get those last keeps to see who wins that match. So I think it was a way that even like FRC could see how to do a non-contact game, because like the zones weren't literally divided, and like even robots could cross the field to do competitions and stuff, but it wasn't like completely isolated. So it was fun to watch.
That
Now
was how FTC was this year as well. They had minimal contact, and I really like this ranking system for this game better than the ranking system that they had for FTC this year, because it awarded you for scoring higher, and it penalized you for playing defense, and that was the point of this game. This game was an offensive game, and every first global game is going to be an offensive game because they don't want defense. And I think they did a really good job at promoting offense, not defense.
Yeah, it's for you to cooperate with your alliance. It's not to like screw the other alliance up. So
And-
yeah.
So, Sean, actually, you finish, and then I'll ask.
Yeah, so if they were to do the alliance selection over it, random works well, but I think that doing something that makes it pseudo-random, like the first 8 seeds can't get together, or they do something better like that, would be beneficial.
Yeah, like Ethan said, like it would be great to have like not like randomish, but to balance the alliances. That'll be great, because even though you cannot select who you're playing with, it'll be great to have them like not do 1 and 3 together while you're playing with the 48 and 47 team, right?
Yeah. Ishan, do you think your experience from Relic Recovery in having to collect blocks and place them helped you guys in this game?
Oh, yeah. So for Team USA, we found out that we were Team USA a week after Worlds. And after winning the Inspire Award, you're like, okay, we need to settle down. We need to take a break. We've done so much. We're exhausted. And so we find out that we're Team USA, and we immediately start prototyping everything but the blocks, because we knew the blocks are almost identical to the foam blocks at Relic Recovery. We knew we could make something for that. And then we catted it, and pretty much our robot came together in 2 weeks. And then a lot of us went on vacation, and we came back, and we were competing in Mexico.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
You guys did great.
It was a very crazy run for us. And now we're just trying to get everything together for kickoff. So it's been a long competition season for us.
It's
never
Actually,
stopping.
I think
Always a
you
grind.
can see it in the rankings that most of the top 10 teams are an FTC team.
Yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
So a lot of the top teams were FTC teams, but one of the cool FRC teams that stuck out was Team Poland. They're an FRC team that did
Spice Gears.
Yeah, they did really, really well.
883. They're great.
But after talking to like Team Canada 2056, they were like, yeah, it's a very different challenge compared to what they have to do in FRC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out right now to these Spice Gears, because they, and also like you guys, Team USA, you guys were actually like, let's say the maximum of people were 7 on the team. So you guys actually sent all your other people as volunteers, and that was just great from you guys. And like Mexican volunteers having to be with like people from Poland, from USA. Also big shout out to Team Spectrum, Texas Torque, because they brought also alumni and students as volunteers. Yeah. They did a great job. They were working like 24/7, so they were great to be with.
We have 11 members on our FTC team, and they told us that only 5 could go. So we made it so that our coach helped us. Our coach decided who was going to be on the team, and then offered anybody else can go to volunteer. And it was, talking to the people who volunteered, it was a really great opportunity for them, and it was different than anything they had done for volunteering for FTC or stuff like that.
Yes, like it was just great, just seeing like all the cultures in a way volunteering, those who could, and like yeah, it was great.
Hey, Sean, I gotta ask you, what was your favorite team to work with at First Global? Like that you either competed with or worked with in the pits? Who'd you have the best experience with?
So as drive team and fixing our robot, I unfortunately didn't get to work with many teams, but I got a little bit of time on the last day to talk to teams, and I went over to Team Iran, and of course we're like, because of political tensions, when would I ever get a chance to talk to somebody from Iran? And it was such an incredible experience to be able to meet people from there, and to be able to actually work with them. It was eye-opening. Like, I'm still in contact with them right now. I really want to help them as much as I can because they are incredible people. And regardless of what politics says, we need to be able to unite the world, and that's what First Global did.
I think you hit it right on the head there, is that the goal of this program is to bring people like that together, right? And having that experience, I mean, and many of us who've been in First and other programs have gone to experience people from all over the world and all different countries and meet new cultures and new things. And I think really that's the beauty of the program more than anything else, is that networking opportunity that you get.
Yeah. We even look at this right now. We've got 3 hosts in the U.S., 2 hosts in Mexico right now, and yeah, it's a worldwide show.
But I think like the real question for Ishan is, what was your favorite food in Mexico?
Ooh,
favorite food. So we were staying at the I forget. We were staying at a hotel near, just in like downtown, where all the teams were. And there was this taco place that we hit up 6 out of the 8 days that we were there.
Was it Khalifa by any chance?
It was El Caminero.
El Caminero. Okay.
Nice. Good. Tacos.
We had that 6 out of the 8 days that we were there. It was incredible. Best street tacos I've ever had.
Yeah, actually, the rap guys, like, they love the tacos too. They went to Khalifa, and they were like loving it because, well, fun fact, in Mexico, taquerias, like taco places, close around like 6 a.m. So you can have them all day long, even though you're like, you get out of the event, the venue, after setting up all the fields at 12 o'clock, and you can go up to get some tacos.
It's like a late night pizza joint in the U.S., right?
Exactly. But one of the things was we got dinner at like 10 p.m. as a team after a competition day. So we were exhausted, and we were just like, nope, we're getting them tacos.
It's just, tacos are great. Like,
tacos are great.
Like, I remember going with the volunteers at the hotel with the Spectrum guys. They were just great to hang out with. And we went to the Khalifa, like, I think once or twice, but it was like, they were just great tacos. And it was just a great place to relax after the long day of volunteering. And knowing that in some hours you were going to have to wake up and go again and help them, the volunteer. So, yeah, it was great.
That's awesome. So I think we're going to go to the next match and watch the finals match, which saw Romania, Singapore, and Germany face off against Iceland, the Maldives, and Colombia.
So just to give some background, Iceland was the team that eliminated us, and Romania was the number 1 and the 3 seed paired together.
So do you guys want to explain what's going on right now?
Yeah, so as Ishan said and Lino, the strategy here for the game was like just incredible. You have paired up like these 2 powerhouses that they were trying to do the whole solar panel thing, because the main idea for the teams, I guess, Ishan, I don't know, but that was Mexico's strategy, was to get the solar panels in by the first 40 seconds, because that way you'll maximize your number of points. You'll get like 1,000 something points if you get the 5 solar panels in the first 40 seconds. So that was the idea. Well, the other teams, like the smaller teams, get well, not smaller. The lower ranked teams were trying to get the other energies. In this case, I think it's I don't know if it's Colombia that goes up to get the wind turbine.
Yeah, that's Colombia. No, wait, that's another team. No.
So just a little bit on the scoring. The scoring worked. You got 1 point per second that you had a solar panel scored, and that's what they're showing right now. And then you had 1 point per second that the wind turbine was scoring. So I don't know how they're exactly doing it right now, but our strategy was get all 5 solar panels within 30 seconds and try to get the wind turbine during that time. And so it worked out for us until it didn't, but the cubes became the differentiator. Who could score the most cubes really won the match.
So what was the center structure again? That was like a co-op, like
nobody used it.
Nobody used it.
No.
It was too much effort to get it to work, and it was not worth enough points
So in one of the referee meetings, like the next day, the last day, we were like, "So has anyone seen the co-op being used?" And one of the referees said, "Yeah, it was just once." So yeah, guys, it was just one time.
That was like the corner vortex.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the corner vortex.
I guess while we're watching this match finish, I don't know if you guys watched much of First Global last year. I know I didn't. Was the game this year? How can you compare the two games? I know teams were a lot more competitive this year, and was that because of the difference in the games, or just because teams were better?
No, so last year's they didn't have finals or eliminations in global. So this year they knew they were going to have eliminations, so it was way crazier because strategy started to tense up. Because I don't know if Shani, if you were able to score the 5 solo panels in 30 seconds, but as far as I know, it was like almost impossible for one team to get the whole 5 panels, in 30 seconds. So like teams had to start pairing up and matching to see who was coming in, who was coming out, more like an FRC style, because the field is not that big. And if you have 6 robots and the cubes and the panels and everything going on, it was really interesting to see how the robots were dancing to try to get all the cubes in and out, or the cell panels, sorry, in and out, while also trying to get the green turbines and the cubes.
Yeah, like for example, it was like a consistent strategy. Like the most consistent teams were the ones showing results. And like, for example, I remember the Team Mexico match at quarters. The reason the Team Mexico got eliminated in a way, it was because they dropped the panel, and like the other alliance was just really consistent. So like yeah, it just gets to that high competitive level that you see at actually like an FRC FTC championship. And I was like just impressed on seeing how teams that were rookies, because like it was their first robotics competition, to what they were achieving that same competition on the third day. It was just crazy to see.
I think that also they made the game make it more difficult. They made it so that there were more scoring opportunities. Last year, the only way to score was through balls. Everything was around balls. It felt like Hot Shot, except without shooting. In this game, there were 3 different ways to score, and you had to build a robot that was successful in all 3 to be consistent. And I mean, I thought that they really upped it up with the game, and they made it so that everybody had to think outside of the box. But one thing I want to note is that for the past 2 years, FTC used balls in Velocity Vortex, then Steamworks used balls, and then First Global used balls. This year, FTC used blocks, Power Up used blocks, and Global used blocks. So for any FRC teams watching, you should probably take a look at the FTC game when it comes out this September 8th. It'll probably have some good hits.
Spoilers! Don't tell that.
So we're now playing big FTC on FRC. That's what you're saying?
It sure looks like it.
That's a wild accusation.
That's a wild one. But hey, if we actually so if FTC has some kind of triangle game piece, I'm just gonna say, yeah, sure, whatever. I guess maybe the patterns work. You know, there's conspiracy theories going on that the FRC logo, like it was like circle, square, and now it's gonna be like a triangle.
Ooh, I don't know. I haven't thought about that.
So are we having like mini rockets or something for FTC? Who knows? We'll see how it goes.
All right.
Can't comment on that.
So does anyone have any last comments about this First Global Challenge 2018?
Yeah, well, my main impression is it stepped up like the whole first event. Like we have had FRC events on the arena, but what you're seeing right now, it's like the closing ceremony, I think. Dude, like we have, I don't know how many $1 billion on the VIP stage. Like there's like all the CEOs, like Qualcomm CEO, the president-elect, Salinas is there, Ricardo Salinas. It was incredible. Like all the support that it got in Mexico, it was great. Like all the show part, it was incredible. The guys from production, it was just amazing. The whole thing, the food, the transportation, the hotels, everything was great. And it set up a good example for next year's global event that we still don't know where it's going to be. In I don't know, let's see how championship moves or changes after seeing this global event in Mexico.
Yeah, so thank you guys very much. That's a wrap for tonight's special segment about the first global competition. Thank you for all of the follows and subscriptions we received today. Don't forget that you can subscribe for free if you or your parents have Amazon Prime. If you want to stay connected with what FTC Live is doing, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at FunFTC. And you can also join our Discord through the link in the chat.
Become a patron, guys.
Yeah, you can also contribute on Patreon at patreon.com/funftc. That'll really help us out.
Yeah, with that, on behalf of myself, Nathan, and our producer, Tyler, working behind the scenes, I'd like to thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you again to Ishan, Lino, and Manny for helping us in our discussion of the first global 2018 competition. We'll be back in just 2 weeks for a show all about Robotics game. And don't forget to watch our Robot in 1 weekend. They'll be streamed right here on Fun over kickoff weekend. Thank you guys, and good night.
All right, good night.
Bye.
Adios.